Hello, my name is Reve Sinclair. I am a certified birth doula, postpartum doula, and certified childbirth educator, placenta encapsulator, and I do basically all things birth. I'm coming to you to talk with you really quickly about just simply what are the benefits of having a doula. Nowadays, having a doula could mean you have a doula for in person support or virtual support, or have a doula just for the purposes of planning for your birth or postpartum season. Okay, so let's break that down. What is a birth doula? A birth doula is a person who is familiar with birth, trained and experienced in seeing birth from an outsider's perspective, not necessarily having their own birth, but they basically work with a family to provide informational, physical, relational, and emotional support to a family. You would hire a doula during your pregnancy. And as a doula, I would say the sooner the better. But you would basically interview and hire a doula, and then they would start providing you with that informational support, helping you explore the different options for where you could birth, who you could birth with, how you can birth, what might happen during the birth, what are your medical intervention options, if any, depending on the location of where you birth, all of those details. And then they provide you with emotional support during the pregnancy, because, of course, this is an emotional time for everyone. So, being able to help understand your emotions, have that support that is not like a friend or even a family member, someone to confide in, and really to understand all the changes that you might be going through during the pregnancy, people find it extremely helpful. Then a doula also in pregnancy can provide some physical support by helping you address some of the physical changes and challenges, maybe some aches and pains that you're experiencing. So, as a doula, we provide comfort measures for the birth, but we teach them to you in the pregnancy. And we encourage you to practice them while you're pregnant so that by the time your birthing day comes, you're ready to use them. You know exactly what spot needs to be pressed or rubbed, or if no rubbing or touching or pressing is what you want at all, you'll have a sense of that well before you get into the birth. A birth doula would also be present for you once you get through early stage of labor and you go into active labor. And they would be with you continuously until the baby or babies are birthed and you're on the postpartum side of things. They would help you with immediate postpartum support, like doing skin to skin and getting baby to latch onto the breast, and then they leave. Of course, they would be there continuously supporting you if if you end up having a birth in terms of a C-section. While sometimes they can go into the operating room, sometimes they cannot. If they cannot, they would stay, make sure that your belongings are secured, and then connect with you on the recovery side. And then also do follow up with you if you needed additional care because now you're healing from a surgery as well as a birth. What I just described to you is for in-person support. But let's say you are hiring a doula to provide you with virtual support because a doula may not be available or allowed to be with you for in the hospital or in the birth center due to restrictions with COVID-19. So in that case, the doula would still engage with you and give you all that prenatal support. They would also do some comfort measure support with you, and they could choose to do that virtually or in person. But then, and then when you go into labor on your birthing day, they could be with you in the early labor to help you get into a ritual and a rhythm, to practice your breathing, to remind you of comfort measures. But then when you choose to transfer, if it's not a home birth, to the birth center or the hospital, they would or could ensure that you got there, go with you. And then once you enter, they would go home. And then they would continue to provide you with support via telephone, text, and video. And they would be able to hear what's happening in the birth, give you tips, give you some ideas, and be with you consistently or as consistently as you would want them to be until baby is birthed. And then remind you of all the things that all your options, your choices, and all the things that maybe you have on your birth plan, and help you all still continuously have a seamless birth experience as much as possible. Okay, so The third option is to hire a doula just to help you plan for the birth and plan for the postpartum. We call those birth planning sessions and postpartum planning sessions. So perhaps you want the benefit of the informational support and even the emotional support of a doula, but you don't want any in person and you don't necessarily want help during the birth. Well, you can hire a doula to help you sort out your options, make a plan, and help ensure that that it goes as close to plan as possible. One of the most important things to plan out is your postpartum season, and the birth doula can be and the postpartum doula can be extremely helpful in helping you know what your options are and figuring out how do you put together help and support, especially when maybe help and support is not as readily as available during the pandemic. So I hope this was helpful to you just to explain to you the ways that doulas can show up for you and provide you with support during the pregnancy, during your birthing day, and into your postpartum season, whether they are with you in person or partially in person and virtual, or they're just there for the plan and helping you figure out what your options are. So if you have any questions, you can contact me at www.revesinclair.com. Leave a message on the contact form. Let me know what it is that you need. I'm happy to follow up and connect with you. Happy birthing.